Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Today I want to do the final presentation of FPA310 Federal Plantation Management Sendirian Berhad Jengka 11. My name is Muhammad Danis Iman bin Mat Ansari. My student ID is 2020-849-842. I'm from class 801105C and my faculty supervisor is Madam Rahana Hani binti Zawawi. Company's background. The name of the company is Federal Plantation Management Sendirian Berhad Jengka 11. The date of establish is 22 June 2005. Organizational chart. The manager of this company is Encik Zahid Hisham bin Omar. The assistant manager is Muhammad Zairi bin Ahmad Nasir. First supervisor is Ahmad Shakir bin Othman. And two clerk which is Muhammad Mazri bin Ma'asan and Azizah binti Zainal. The vision of this company is to become a driver in the progressive development of the nation's settlement. And the mission is to add value for settler interests. Okay, next is summary of tasks. Okay, in the first week, I do the manuring, fertilizer checking, read SOPP manual, and fill in the check roll. In week 2 to 3, I fill in the daily record of delivery of oil palm fruit to the factory. Before, I learn about herbicide and do harvesting. In week 5, I making conclusion of daily record of delivery of oil palm fruits to the factory. And in the last week, I fill in the form of fertilizer production and delivery to the farm. Oil palm fruit bunch grading, learning about personal protective equipment which is PPE and fronds pruning. 5 main activity I do in the practical. Firstly, manuring, fertilizer checking, fill in the check roll, harvesting, and lastly, oil palm fruit bunch grading. Okay, first activity which is manuring. The objective of the activity is to increase soil fertility and oil palm tree growth. Secondly, to optimize the fruit production of the oil palm tree. The material I use is 105 bag of fertilizer and two equipment which is wheelbarrow and scoops. The procedure of this activity is firstly send the bag of fertilizer to the farm by using lorry. Open fertilizer packaging and pour the fertilizer into the wheelbarrow and take the fertilizer and throw it at trees front that have been on the ground. The costing per bag is RM6 and total bag that we use is 105. Total labor is 5 and total is 3,150. Material cost of one bag is 120. Total bag that we use is 105 and total is 12,600. The outcome that I get from the activity is I managed to learn how to increase soil fertility and oil palm tree growth, and I discovered how to optimize the oil palm tree's fruit production. This figure shown bags of fertilizer been sent to plantation by using lorry and the proper way to do the manuring. Next is activity 2. Name of the activity is fertilizer checking. The objective of the activity is to find out if the nutrient written on the fertilizer packaging is true and to avoid from being lied by the fertilizer producer. The list of material is fertilizer and the list of equipment is prop, bucket and plastic. Okay, the procedure of this activity. Firstly, we need to poke the edge of the fertilizer bag by using probe until it reaches the other edge of the packaging. And turn the probe upside down to gain more pellet and pull out the probe and lay the sample on an empty fertilizer bag. Repeat the step for 3 times. And lastly, pour the sample into a bucket. Then take 100 grams of the sample into a sample plastic for verification for PPPP to result. The cost per one bag is 150 and total is 480. Outcome that I get from this activity is I learn how to decide if the nutrient on the fertilizer packaging is real, and I discover how to avoid being lied by fertilizer producer. Okay, the figure shown proper way to check the sample of fertilizer. This is the probe, and we need to put the edge of the fertilizer bag and put the sample on the bag and put into plastic to get the verification. Next, activity 3. The name of this activity is fill in the check roll, and the objective of the activity is to learn the calculation of worker salary and to write in the calculation before put it into system to prevent error. This activity do not have material, and the list of equipment is only two, which is pen and check roll pocket. Procedure. Firstly, write how many days that the worker have worked and work rate for each day. Then write the allowance, and if the worker work on the rest day, we must double the pay rate. And we also must write the deduction of EPF and social of the worker. Lastly, calculate the total of the payment. This activity doesn't have costing, and the outcome I get from this activity is I managed to learn how to calculate the salary of worker, and I realized that we must write in the calculation before inserting it into the system to prevent error. Okay, the figure shown the checker pocket. This book called checker pocket, and I need to write the worker salary on this book before I put it into system. Next, activity 4. The name of this activity is harvesting. The objective of the activity is to learn the proper technique to do harvesting of oil palm fruits and to know the harvesting process which is done by Felda. List of equipment, scope, sickle, scooping basket, wheelbarrow, and lastly loading steel. Procedure. Okay, firstly, we need to cut the oil palm tree front by using a sickle to make the process easier. And then, hold the oil palm fruit until it falls to the ground. Then, collect fruits that have been separated from bunch by using scooping basket and put it into wheelbarrow. And finally, pick up the oil palm bunch by using loading steel and put it into wheelbarrow and put it into the truck. The outcome I get from this activity is I learn the best technique for harvesting a palm fruit and I discover regarding Ferda's harvesting process. Okay, the figure shown the proper way to the harvesting the oil palm. This is the fruit that have been hooked, and this is me. I pick up the oil palm bunch by using rolling steel. Okay, the last activity, which is activity 5. The name of this activity is oil palm fruit bunch grading, and the objective of the activity is to identify whether the bunch of fruit is ripe, unripe, and black bunch, and to ensure that only ripe fruit bunch are transported on truck to be sent to the factory. The equipment that I use on this activity is first spray can and notebook. Okay, the procedure of this activity. Firstly, we need to go to the platform where the bunch of fruit are placed after being harvested and then observe the color of fruits on the bunch. And to be more precise, observe if there are fruit sockets that are already released from the bunch. If there are more than 10 sockets, it means the bunch of fruit is ripe. If there are less than 10 sockets, the bunch of fruit is unripe. And if there are no socket, it means the fruit of bunch is black. And then spray white paint on black bunch to make it easier for fruit transporter to distinguish between ripe and a black bunch. Lastly, record the grading in a notebook. And the outcome I got from this activity is I learned how to determine whether a bunch of fruit is ripe, unripe, or black bunch. And I discovered that FEDA only accept ripe fruit bunch to be transported on truck to the factory. The figure above shows the whole grading process. This is fruit after being harvested and we need to put it into the truck. The conclusion for this presentation. Industrial Training 2 FPA310 is a required course for all students in the Semester 4 Diploma in Plantation Management program in order to complete the 80110 program requirement. During the final semester break in August to October 2022, my friend and I, which is in Diploma in Plantation Management student, participated in the Industrial Training 2, which is FPA 310, at Felda Plantation Management Sdn Bhd at Jengka 11. Five staff member of Fpmsb was guiding us in the training, including Mr. Zahid Hassan bin Omar, Mr. Muhammad Zairi bin Ahmad Nasir, Mr. Ahmad Shakir bin Othman, and two other staff which is clerk, which is Mr. Mazri bin Mak Yassin and Azizah binti Zainal. During the industrial training period, several activities were planned and effectively conducted, and the students received a lot of information, and we were able to apply the ideas taught during lecture while completing industrial training on the farm. Thank you from the bottom of my heart, all those who were indirectly or indirectly involved in the industrial training that was conducted. Uh, Lastly, recommendation. Uh, I've been conducting industrial training on August, which has been full of hurdles and problems. Some recommendations for improvement and management action have been made. A few individuals, for example, get wounded while receiving industrial training. So we need to wear full protection clothing such as boot and glove to avoid being struck by sharp instrument or dangerous item in the future to avoid this problem. Furthermore, constantly adhere to the order of farm managers and staff. This is because if we employ all of the knowledge that has been supplied to us by supervisor and staff, we will get useful experience to use when we wish to work outside of one day. Okay, this is the reference. Okay, it's so lovely to do this presentation and thank you for listening. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.